higher,
further,
faster.
How empowered do you feel right now?
I'm so empowered. This is the new best Marvel movie since the last best Marvel movie, Captain Marvel.
I don't know if it's quite at She-Hulk level, but it's definitely up there. There's just nothing bad to say about this film.
Oh, Captain, my Captain.
Kamala Khan is, oh my gosh, she is such a delight.
Oh,
I almost cried when we watched it.
I almost creamed my panties.
Oh my gosh, I came so close too.
Their diversity. Their diversity is what will help them overcome any male villain.
It's their strength. Boys, this film is for us. You can sit this one out.
It's not for any of you. It's for us.
We earned it.
Welcome to our review of The Marvels.
Higher. Further. Faster.
I feel kind of bad. This movie is so easy to shit on.
It is.
But
Everyone is just taking a dump on this movie.
I just feel bad because it's
I mean,
so
it's bad.
easy.
At this point, it just feels sad.
It's like making fun of a kid with disabilities.
That shit is too easy. Too easy.
Whereas, like, shooting on a movie like Ant-Man just felt great.
What?
This just feels like,
Which is basically how it feels watching it.
yeah, we were talking about this before the review, but I did want to attempt to say some good things about it as kind of a counter to everybody just shitting all over it. I'm still gonna shit all over it, but I wanted to try and find some silver linings in there somewhere.
Yeah,
if I could.
normally I can be like, all right, well, you know, I thought the movie was sucked, but
Yeah.
the cinematography was good.
Yeah.
The editing was cool in this scene, or the score was good. I can't say I liked anything about this movie whatsoever.
It starts with the fact that it's got a pretty convoluted plot, and you could tell because I know they went in and like reshot stuff, did new scenes, they were cutting things up.
It feels like one of those too many cooks in the kitchen
Yes,
films.
and the tone, like there's tonal issues
The film is all
throughout
over
the
place.
entire film. So it picks up after the events of Captain Marvel 1, where she goes off to like punish the Kree and then find a new home for the Skrulls, and then all her meddling where she destroys the AI of the Kree somehow causes them to get into a civil war which decimates their planet's natural resources, including the sun.
Okay.
Which, okay, whatever. So our villain comes along, and she's got a hard-on for wanting to hurt Captain Marvel because Captain Marvel, the Annihilator.
That's her terrorist.
That's her terrorist name. Yeah. Wrecked her world, who kind of looked like Ra from Stargate.
Yeah, with like kind of the SJW hair color.
Yeah, she was like the SJW version of Ra.
Yeah. Raw was assigned male at birth, though.
Kind of.
So I still can't tell with this person.
With this person,
With this
yeah.
individual.
Yeah. She wants to go around and steal all these natural resources from, I guess, people that are connected to Captain Marvel, different planets, like the new Skrull planet, Earth, and all these places. And she fucks with these jump points, these like teleport points that I think were introduced in Guardians or whatever, and she has some stupid gauntlet that lets her like open them up permanently instead of just jumping and them closing. And then all the main characters in this movie somehow just get entangled, all their powers, and then their powers, every time they use them at the same time, they swap places. And then non-hilarity ensues.
Yes, all the teleporting shenanigans.
The teleporting shenanigans, which could have been cool. There were a couple fight scenes where like they almost did something cool with it, but then it was just like,
If you're gonna do a plot like that, that just opens up the floodgates to all the possibilities you can do cinematically with that, and they just did not take them.
right. So you have this convoluted plot where Ra is going around stealing natural resources from planets in scenes that were kind of reminiscent of Spaceballs.
Yeah, I kept thinking about that, the vacuuming scene.
The big vacuum.
Yeah. Apparently we're not alone on that too.
No,
Other people
I think
picked up
a
on it.
lot of people picked up on that one.
Yeah.
But I mean, how could you not? So you get not just Captain Marvel in this movie. You get Monica Rambeau, who nobody knows who she is. She was a kid in the first movie. The only time we've seen her as an adult was in WandaVision, where she gets her powers, and you see her get her powers for like 8 seconds, and then that's the only time you ever see this character.
Okay.
And then she shows up in this movie like We Should Care. And then, of course, Miss Marvel, which was the Disney Plus show that like next to nobody watched. So you get these three characters now who are all co-headlining. it's like an ensemble now. Because by herself carrying a movie, everyone cites that the first one made a ton of money and it was successful because it came out at a time when
Yeah, well,
it
when
was-
you're sandwiched between the two biggest movies of the whole franchise,
course it's-
you're gonna make some money.
yeah, of course
Sure.
it's going to make some money. And then people got wise, like, oh, wait a minute.
Yeah, and that was still during the MCU when things were going well. Like they were still pumping out good movies, and the movies were relatively well received.
Yeah.
and they were very successful.
Yeah,
and that
so they
movie
tr-
comes out, and yeah, it made a lot of money, but still it got shit on because it wasn't good.
Yeah, they tried to shoehorn that character
Yeah.
into a world of well-developed characters, and she got no development. She didn't earn any of it, and they just stick her in there like, oh yeah, she's just as good as the rest of these people now.
Not a great plan.
The three of them together, like, I know a lot of people were saying that Kamala Khan was, I guess, a better
I
part
don't-
of the film. I know you hated her.
I fucking hated that girl. She sucked.
Suck!
I have no problem calling out child actors when they suck. She's
Yeah.
fucking terrible.
Yeah,
She just acts like a theater kid.
she was the token theater kid. I wasn't as annoyed by her as you
Oh,
were.
I fucking
she was
hated her
still
so
annoying,
much.
but
She made the score drop down because she was so bad.
she,
I fucking hated
to
her.
me, was the only person in that movie having a good time.
Yeah,
And
yeah. Like she was the only person that seemed like she was actually happy to be there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
giving it her all, even if her
Sure.
all sucked.
Sure.
Which, not a big fan, but I still did get more energy out of her than like Brie, who, like, every time you see her, she's
What the?
just big eyes, looking around. I mean, there's a scene where she cries and her face just doesn't change, and like a tear just comes out of nowhere, and it's like, that just sums up like the entire movie-going experience.
I think people will be surprised that I was able to like create something a bit more dynamic with her this time.
Every time the three of them were together and like the music stops and like things calm down, I'm like, oh fuck. It turns into a moment where it's like, are you guys all having periods at the same time now?
At best, it was like an episode of a TV show.
Oh, it was awful. And they were just like, I'm so sorry that my tone was off when I said that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, the whole thing is just about women coming together, working together, and not being catty bitches to each other. Got to prop other women up.
It's realistic.
It's a total fabrication.
The other big character in the movie who is just a husk of a person now is Fury.
Embarrassing.
It's really sad, and what they do with him that leads him to this point, I mean, he's just sitting up in a space station now, just like collecting a paycheck. That's all Samuel Jackson's doing now. He's just looking around like, oh, what are people doing over here? Oh, okay, well, do it better. Okay, I'm gonna go sit down.
Yeah,
that's all he does.
There's autopilot acting, and then there's Nick Fury.
And there's Nick Fury autopilot. Like, that character shouldn't even be around anymore.
No.
Like, he should have gone the way of Stark or Captain America.
Yeah.
He's not a draw anymore.
Think about it. Like, his character is an integral part to Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, they put him in the original movie.
He's
as
in the
like
original movie. He's the one
who-
that sets her up at the end of Infinity War. Mm-hmm. So he's kind of tied to her now in this weird way.
Yeah.
And it's like he's symbolically kind of the face of the downfall of the MCU right now.
Yeah, even him being there just doesn't. He spends half that movie herding cats around, and he spends another portion acting like Kirk from The Trouble with Tribbles. What the hell are these things doing on my ship?
Yeah.
And he's taking the vents off and just finding eggs everywhere.
Yeah.
It was like Tribbles.
My chicken sandwich and coffee.
Honestly, it was.
That's the kind of energy this movie was bringing.
They had to give him something to do, and that's what he was doing.
Yeah, which just felt like so different than the actual threat that was going on. This woman's gonna show up and like steal your son, and he's over here like, what are we doing? Oh, I don't know, we found some eggs. All right, do something about it. And like the team's over here trying to figure out how to like swap their powers so they can fight this woman who just happens to have the one weapon that Captain Marvel can't directly fight against. They made her so powerful that they just have to give whatever villain like some stupid tool that just negates her powers completely.
Yeah.
Even though like they've already established that she can fly like the speed of light. So like this woman should never see her coming.
Yeah.
She should be able to just speed towards her and grab this gauntlet off of her. But you know, that's what happens when you write a character that is just so beyond anything.
There were just so many things that were convenient in it, so many plot holes that after a while, I just gave up trying to, I couldn't, I just gave up. And I just wanted it to end.
And it wasn't like super long either. Like it wasn't like
it's not, but it feels fucking long.
It did feel
and
long.
then by the time they get to the Bollywood planet,
with the
alien
Korean
race.
the Korean prince.
the Korean prince and like everyone on there, they communicate by singing, and if you don't sing, then they don't understand you. But
Yeah,
then
the
Korean-
matriarchal theater planet.
Yeah, but then the Korean prince, who is bilingual, could understand them, so that was kind of pointless.
Yeah, he was by something. I don't I mean, that was the vibe that guy was putting out.
I definitely did
Detect some soy.
Detect some, maybe experimented with some penis in college.
It was, you know, a joke. Because that's what they do now.
That's the issue.
They make jokes
The whole and
at the expense of the plot.
and Miss Marvel, the whole like everything is now a joke. Everything is done for laughs. There's no stakes, and I know that like not every Avengers movie, not every Marvel movie, they don't have to like have world-ending consequences.
Right. This one did.
This one did, but yes, but like.
But it didn't feel
I'm
like
just saying
it
that
did.
they don't all have to be so like, oh, it's like a superhero movie. He's fighting. It's grim, you know. Even though I don't think any Marvel movies really have been that.
No, but some do it better than others where you're like, okay, the stakes.
This was just so light that it was stupid.
Yeah.
Like it's a comedy first before it's an adventure film.
Yeah. Even to the point when Ra is like, she opens up that space portal and she starts sucking out the Earth sun. And then they're like, oh, well, how are we going to close this? And of course, Monica is just like, oh, well, it's very simple. You know, give me both the gauntlets. I'll go over to the other side. I'll use whatever powers that, you know, I just need to have at the exact moment and I'll close it. And they're like, okay, good plan. Like, not once do they ever stop. Like, wait a minute. If you do that, like, you'll die. Like, you can't. We're not letting you do that. They never even try to talk her out of it. They're just like, oh, yeah, good plan. Go. And then she goes off. She goes to the other side, like she said. They're like, okay, come back now. And she's like, I can't, because I'm on the other side. That's how I'm going to close it. And then that's when she realizes, like, oh, wait a minute. And she flies out there and, of course, like, doesn't make it in time. And then
I was so surprised that was going to happen.
the most lackluster, like, oh, our friend just died. They're just like, oh. The most emotion you get out of that is, like, when the ship comes back to the planet and Miss Marvel gets off and she's just like,
Dude,
little quivering lip. That's all we get.
They were more
the death of
whiny
Monica.
and more sad when the three of them were together.
Yeah.
And they were apologizing to each other.
Yeah.
Than they were when she died.
Yeah, they have their reunion, their big reunion, Monica and Captain Marvel, and it's just the most like, there's no emotion. There's nothing to make me care. But you know, again, the real reason why we didn't like this movie is because it's not for us. So
We're not the demo.
I used to remember when, if it was a Marvel movie, it was for everybody.
Yeah. Well,
You know?
they got it in their heads that, oh, these comic book films, comic books in general, it's a very male-centric hobby. So we have to infiltrate. You guys enjoy this? Well, fuck you. Not anymore.
Right. You go see the new Iron Man movie and there's a chick sitting next to you and you're like, the fuck are you doing here? This isn't for you. That hero's a man. Get out of here. Or you're like, and then on the other side of you is a black guy and you're like, yo, Iron Man's white, Black Panther's playing down the hall. What are you fucking doing in here?
Yeah.
This is not how it works.
I skipped out seeing Blade because I'm not black.
Right? It's just so stupid. Monica has her big sacrifice at the end, which is weird because I assumed Captain Marvel would be the one making the sacrifice, and she's the one that like caused this whole fucking mess. They didn't give that to her at all. And they realize before this happens that the dying son of Kree could just be, you know, kickstarted by Captain Marvel. She just, you know, flies into it and does something.
Yeah, who said that? Was it Miss Marvel? Which one of
No,
them?
it was Monica.
Okay, so
Monica
Monica
was like, well, can't you just fly into the sun and, you know, restart? Oh, maybe I can. And she's like, I don't know. I've never done that before. Well, that's funny. Just another thing you can just do that is so beyond the scope of, like, if you
The
consider...
character can fly through suns and fucking supercharge a sun.
Isn't that just fucking convenient for you?
Now all bets are off. There's literally nothing you can't do. And when you consider the size of a star, just standing on a planet like Earth, you could put, like, how many thousands of Earths inside of a sun?
You can put 1 million Earths in the sun.
There it is. She flies inside of a sun, and then the entire sun just reignites. Like, what does she do? She just gets really angry?
She just goes in there and
She goes in there and just fucking, like, rages? There's no limits as to what she can do.
it's really hard to review this one because it's like you're reviewing a product and not reviewing a movie. Mm-hmm. Because of all the bullshit in it.
Yeah.
I just wanted it to end, and it was exhausting watching it because I didn't care at all about
Yeah.
anything. It was not interesting to me. The way it's shot sucked. Everything about it. Honestly, everything about it sucked.
I'm trying to think of what I did like about it. Or maybe not liked, but maybe what I thought was like, okay, I guess this is kind of more of like in line with an older Marvel thing.
There's none of that. There's none of the fun. Like if you were to watch this and Iron Man and the first Iron Man in the
they're
same
night
sitting,
and day.
oh my god,
they're completely night and day. But a lot of people are talking about the villain as like, oh yeah, and there's no throwaway villain. And yeah, she kind of was a throwaway villain, but like I at least understood her motive. It wasn't just like I'm here to conquer the universe and kill everyone motive, which is like, we've had villains like that in phase 2 and 3, back when Marvel was good. And I didn't give a shit about them at all. Not that I gave a shit about this one, but I at least understood what she was trying to do to save her world.
right? Yeah.
So they at least gave her a motive that I didn't immediately dismiss.
You know, there are a lot of people that hated the movie, but they're still kind of praising some of the action scenes. The action scenes were fucking terrible. They were balls.
Yeah.
They weren't shot well. There was like zero energy. And of course, when you watch an action movie, a Marvel movie, whatever, the fights, it's choreographed, of course.
Yeah.
But they're doing things now where it's like overtly choreographed. It just looks like they're doing a fucking stunt show. The whole thing, it just reminds me of Power Rangers now. Like they're doing like, they're fucking posing and shit. Like,
Right. I think Captain Marvel poses in every scene she's in this movie in some capacity.
I was actually very surprised that they actually had her in kind of like a wife beater for a lot of the movie.
Yeah,
and
yeah, out of
showing the
costume.
girls a little bit, you know what I mean? I was very surprised because
Yeah.
my male gaze was definitely going.
Your eyes
yeah.
went down for a moment.
They did, and
Yeah.
I was surprised that they gave us that. That was very shocking. And I'm normally not really that attracted to Brie Larson, but she
looked okay.
She looked all right.
And then Valkyrie shows up looking like Gordon Gekko, wearing a freaking 3-piece business suit.
All
Like,
lesbianed
what the
out.
fuck? Where did she come from? And why is she dressed like that?
You're already having the most miserable time watching this movie, and then fucking Miss Boring Face comes in.
And then another boring character comes in.
God.
Yeah, and you know what's coming. You know, like, all this young Avenger shit's coming with all these underdeveloped characters who are just perfect.
No, all these characters that no one gives a shit about.
Yeah, right? All these C-tier characters.
No one cares. They're trying so desperately to make little girls like these movies. They don't give a shit.
Yeah.
They never have. They never will. Are there some girls, females that love these movies? Yes, there are quite a few of them out there. But they're trying to like overtly cater to the female market right now.
It's not there in the way that the male market is for these movies.
That's why all of this stuff sucks now, though, is because they lost sight of who their true audience is.
Yeah, well, they got to bring everybody in. And by bringing everyone in, they have to exclude the
Yes.
bulk of their audience.
Yes, exactly. So when they teleport, everything that's on their person also teleports, their clothes.
Unless there's a spacesuit.
Why? Yeah, so when
Right.
she's out in space, what the fuck?
Yeah, the whole movie is filled with all these little things.
Yes, and it happens very... Normally, it's spread out when you watch a movie. Like The Dark Knight Rises. That movie's so annoying, but all the annoyances are spread out. This one, like, gets it all over with in the beginning, and then so you give up really fast.
Yeah, there's so much stupid shit in this movie.
Yes.
We were like 10 minutes in when they do that little recap of the Miss Marvel show with the animation stuff.
God, that
And I'm like
sucked.
thinking like, why is this girl obsessed with a character who's been on Earth for like 8 minutes? She showed up in like 1995, which was when the first movie was.
Right, she wasn't even born yet.
She wasn't even born yet. And then she shows up for like 8 minutes again later to fight Thanos
in Endgame.
In Endgame,
no
which,
cameras were
yeah, I'm
around.
pretty sure that wasn't televised.
Yeah.
And then she leaves again after Tony's funeral, and then that's it. Like, what do you even know about this person?
Right.
And she's obsessed with her. The person who should be more obsessed with her is Monica.
Yeah, now, I mean, of course, people might know about Captain Marvel. That's fine. But, like, when Tony Stark was around, he was in the media. Like, there was a superhero personality that he brought with him.
Yeah.
That most
Everybody
of the characters
knew who he was.
Yeah, Captain America, everyone, like, knew who they were.
Yeah,
you know
for
what I mean?
years.
So, I would say that Captain Marvel is probably one of the more elusive people that you don't really have a sense of their personality.
The thing that made me think about it was she had that giant like cardboard cutout of her
Yeah,
in
it's
the
like
room.
merchandise.
And merchandise. And I was
Yeah.
like, when did she give her likeness rights away
Yeah,
for this
exactly.
shit when she's been
Yeah.
in space for 30 years?
Yeah.
No, you're right. You know, like the more we're talking about this movie, the less I'm like, yeah, I guess I should try and say a couple good things about it. Like, I'm just tired thinking about it. So
Yes, it's an exhausting movie.
it was exhausting. Just all the lead up to this film. All right, fuck it. Let's rank it. Now I understand where you're fully coming from.
Yes.
We had to talk it out.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
did.
And I mean, there's so much stuff we didn't even
This
touch
is-
on,
it's
but
so
we can't
therapeutic.
talk for 3 hours about this shit because
It's so therapeutic, just like the
They're-
scenes where the three of them are together.
Oh,
and they're just like,
those
oh
are the
my
best.
gosh,
Those are the best
I'm
scenes.
so sorry.
All right, where are you ranking this?
I'm going to give this a 3 out of 10.
Okay. It's funny because I came in, I was going to go like 4.5.
Jesus.
And then
that would have been like the most deviation we've ever had.
I know, but after our conversation, I'll give it a 4.
Okay.
Because, you know, stacking up against other things like Ant-Man 3 and even the first Captain Marvel, there were things that this movie didn't do that stopped me from going lower with the score.
Yeah.
Which leads us to our other scale, which surprisingly,
Yeah, we're on the same page about this.
the movie didn't push that much at all in terms of agenda. There were some things,
It doesn't.
but
yeah, there's like no
that
weird
whole, like,
gender shit.
that whole like, you want to know why it's called a cockpit? Like, there was none of that shit in the movie. Like
Yeah.
there was in the first one. So that whole like men hating shit was pretty much absent from this.
To me, it's like a raw girl power thing, but there's nothing necessarily wrong with
But
that.
like they didn't
you
even
know?
do that much in this one.
No,
with it.
They didn't, but just by nature of the film, like it's about 3 girls getting together and like they're kicking ass
Yeah,
together.
girl power. But like they weren't playing.
It's definite girl power, but it wasn't like that aspect wasn't what made the movie annoying though.
Right.
You know,
right.
I don't.
No Gwen Stefani in this one. This just tried to tell its convoluted story, and then you just had these 3 girls trying to work together.
Yeah, I mean, there is some like annoying my diversity is my strength bullshit. They go to that planet, and that planet's just you don't have a sense of like that planet's culture and their people because they're all just
Singing.
well, they're all singing, but they
And she
all
does
just
mention that it's like, oh, it's a matriarchal planet, so of course it's like perfect.
yes, exactly. So
You
there
know,
were there
yeah,
were
there
like
were
there
a
were
couple
things
little
in there,
things, but, like-
I think that it's like it's definitely agenda driven, but it's not
Like
so much where
there's
it's
one
like,
line where they got a quick little dig in it, like fracking.
yeah, there was
You know,
there was that.
there's, like,
yeah.
that little bit, and then-
that, and then also the fact that like they call her the Annihilator, and so it's like talking about terrorists, like oh, one man's freedom fighters, another man's terrorists. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
But at the end of the
Even
day,
though
she's
she
still
is
the good
hero,
guy.
she's the hero,
She's
right?
the
Which is
terrorist, but
why
she's
I
still
kind
the-
of thought Ra was like a little more that altruistic
Well, yeah, you can-
hero there, but she was
Yeah.
just going about it the
and then-
wrong way.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, and the whole scene, like, kind of getting away from the rainbow rating, but the whole sequence where it shows that flashback where she goes to destroy the AI and the planet,
She encounters her.
that seemed like a way cooler story.
Yeah, they could have just shown us that, but they didn't.
Well, that's like, I'm like, why wasn't the fucking movie about that?
Yeah, it could have been her making this horrible decision and starting this war.
Yeah.
And realizing like, oh shit, I'm not
Because
perfect.
she's so full
but
of
they can't do that.
she's so full of vengeance and rage that she does that, and then it's like, well, what have I done? And
Yeah.
then, character growth.
It's a different story because we get no character growth with her, and the only flashbacks we get in this movie are like in the beginning where she's just thinking back to the same shit we saw in the first movie. Like you get nothing new with her character.
Yeah.
It's all the same.
Yeah.
It's just like, no, we're just going to give you like a weird ass story that we're going to just throw you in, and then we'll worry about character development down the road in the next movie.
Yeah.
Whatever. Of course, there was the complete cucking of Nick Fury. I mean, now this has been like an ongoing
He's
thing.
been cucked, so
He's been cucked,
yeah.
but it just continues through in this film.
Oh,
they
for
cucked
sure.
him in Captain Marvel,
Right.
and he's just still cucked. Mm-hmm. So It's not even like the cucking happened completely in this movie.
Right.
It's just
the
still there.
cucking with this. It sealed the deal. in
It
this
sealed
one.
the deal.
Yeah.
He's done.
Yeah.
There's nothing interesting about him anymore. But those moments were few and far between. I'm probably only going to go 1.5.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh, I'm
yeah.
gonna give it. I'm still giving it a higher rating. But
That's. I
yeah.
mean, it just wasn't enough for me. Like I was really looking for it the whole movie, and it was just so minimal to me that there was never any moment where it really took me out of the story, like The Exorcist.
Right. Oh no, it's not like that
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
But there's definitely some like multicultural shit in that movie that was really annoying. You know, all the things that Disney has been kind of sprinkling in for the
Yeah.
past few years. It was less overt though with this film than it has been in the past.
Yeah.
But it's just there. It's more like they were kind of doing what you should do if you have those politics where it's there, but you're not pushing it in someone's face. You know?
Yeah, it was very
which,
subtle.
Which I can appreciate. I'm still gonna give it a fucking 3 though. On the rainbow
All right.
scale.
Damn.
Yeah.
It's just not great. And I'm just so uninterested as to what's coming next, especially since they bring in old Hank at the end. Here come the X-Men.
All these things that we've fucked over, well now we're gonna fuck over the X-Men.
Yeah.
How do you like that?
Can't wait.
Yeah.
We have that to look forward to.
Mm-hmm.